How's it going today, guys? You know, when I was out cutting some firewood today and I was enjoying the beautiful day, it crossed my mind that you guys might enjoy just watching, my routine when it comes time to fuel up the saw. So I went back in the house, I set up the cameras, and here we go. And the first thing I want to say is I keep my fuel and my oil and my tools by my shed, and I usually end up walking the saw back to the shed as opposed to bring the tools behind the shed where the wood is, because I just find it's less work that way. This cap gives me a little bit of trouble threading back on, but eventually we get it. Let me just show you this container. You see this container I have there with the oil I use for my bar and chain? I got that at the local Big Y, and that is just the most awesome container. I've been trying to find something that's not too big, that I can pour without spilling, and I really like that container. I've got a 5-gallon jug of the oil I use for my bar and chain, and I just fill that up every once in a while, and it's just really a pleasure to pour. You're not supposed to go like nuts when you tighten the bar and chain oil and the fuel caps, but I have to admit, every saw I have, those caps are worn out, and I haven't stripped the threads yet, but I've come very close. What I'm doing now is I'm going to go ahead and check the chain tension, and it looks like it was a little bit loose, because I do sharpen my chain every tank of gas. Now, I think there's a couple reasons for that. The first reason is because I'm not felling virgin timber. I am cutting wood that has been felled by a tree service, dragged across the ground, put in the back of a truck, dumped in my yard, and then I roll it around in the mud and cut it again. So there's a lot of grit in there, which dulls the saw quite quickly. But the second reason that I sharpen my saw every tank of gas is because, frankly, I like to use a sharp chainsaw. And while it may only dull 10 or 20% through one tank of gas, to me it's a noticeable difference, and I'd rather just take a few minutes and sharpen the saw before I get back to work. Just to prove that it only takes a few minutes, or about 5.5 minutes, to sharpen the saw, we're going to go ahead and keep a clock running as I do this. What I'm doing here is I use an orange Sharpie to mark the cutter I sharpen first. I find that way it's much easier to see. And the saw we've got there, that is a Stihl 066 chainsaw. And the bar is a 25-inch steel bar with 84 drive links. And the chain is, it's a full chisel chain. Not that it really makes a difference because you won't be able to see the detail anyways. But it's full complement, so for every link of that chain, every other link of that chain, there's a cutter. If you didn't notice, go back and watch the last 20 or 30 seconds of the video, but what I do is I put my safety glasses down and I pick up a different pair of safety glasses. I have some magnifying safety glasses I use when I sharpen my chains. It just helps me to see things a little bit better. So I did a video about those. I'll put a link to the video at the end of this video or down below. But magnifying safety glasses are a really great thing to have. Now this is my strong side for sharpening, so I only usually take 2 strokes on this side, and I usually get the chain nice and sharp and remove plenty of metal. However, when I move my body to the other side, it's my weak side. So over there, it'll usually take me about 3 and sometimes 4, even 5 strokes to get the chain sharp. When I'm sharpening this side, I find that the slope of the cutter is more upright, whereas when I file the other side, the slope of the cutter is more hooked. What I try to do is sharpen the chain in the same spot on the bar, and I almost, act like a machine where I just 2 strokes, move the chain forward, 2 strokes, move the chain forward. and it actually is kind of robotic, and it's good to be kind of robotic about it. And when I push the chain forward, I'm not pushing with the part of the file with the teeth. I'm pushing with the part of the file that's just metal with no teeth. That way I don't dull my file. I do end up banging my file once in a while to clean the shavings out of the file. I'll be honest, guys, when I'm filming a video, I tend to bang the file more than usual because, frankly, you guys make me nervous. Now we've moved on to my weaker side, and you know, I always take at least one more stroke on this side, but I keep an eye on the length of my cutters because usually I'll notice that if I take the same number of strokes or even just one extra stroke on this side stays longer than the other side of the chain. So I just have to be careful. And on this chain, I also noticed that my gullet was getting a little full on this side, so I was taking, you know, 2 or 3 strokes to sharpen the chain, and then I was taking one swipe through the gullet to clean out the gullet as well. And again, guys, it's just my weaker side. I can't say why, but I never remove the same amount of metal when I'm filing this side. Same as the other side, I try to sharpen the chain on the same spot, move the chain forward with the part of the file that has no metal. I'm not trying to be fast, I'm just trying to be accurate and consistent. That's the key, you know, accurate and consistent. Please notice that I am wearing gloves when I'm doing this. You never know when you're going to slip on the chain, so it's better to just have the gloves on all the time, or at least a glove on the back hand even, because if you slip, that chain is sharp, especially after you sharpen it, but even before, a dull chain is still pretty sharp. So safety first, guys. This side is taking significantly longer than the other side, and again, guys, it's just because I'm taking more strokes, and it's my weak side, and it feels more comfortable to sharpen this side, but yet it takes more strokes, and I get a little bit of hook on this side. It's the weirdest thing. We're in the home stretch now, guys. A few more teeth to go, and we're going to have it. And what's our time at? We're what, 4 minutes, 50 seconds, give or take? You know, I just don't think it's that big a deal to sharpen your chain, you know, every tank of gas, every other tank of gas. I've got it from a very good source that this is the last tooth to sharpen. And our total time to sharpen the saw, once we put this file away, 5 minutes and 16 seconds. I just don't think it's that big a deal to sharpen your saw every other tank of gas and have that saw in top condition. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and I gotta get back to work. We'll see you later.